Welcome to BlackArchive. September 27th, 2026. A calm, silent morning. In the heart of Tehran, inside a heavily secured government complex, Iran's top leaders were gathered for an important meeting. From the outside, everything appeared completely normal. The city moved on with its usual rhythm. But in reality, at that very moment, some of the world's most notorious intelligence agencies had their eyes fixed on that building. Because they believed Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, was inside. According to various international sources, US intelligence agencies first detected unusual movement of high-ranking officials within the complex. Information gathered through long-term surveillance was quickly shared with Israel, and from there began a joint covert operation that gradually evolved into a full-scale confrontation. For months, attempts had reportedly been made to infiltrate Iran's communication systems. Through satellite surveillance, hacked CCTV cameras, and extensive intelligence analysis, efforts were made to track the movements of senior leadership figures step by step. The goal was not an immediate strike at first, but confirmation, determining exactly where the real target was located. Meanwhile, Iran believed its security shield was completely strong. The modern defense systems and air defense networks surrounding the capital were expected to keep its leadership safe. That was the natural assumption. But in this operation, the war began not with weapons, but with information. Once every movement of the leadership came under surveillance, even the most secure locations slowly became vulnerable. Intelligence analysts later described this as the most crucial phase of the entire operation. Because without confirming the target, no strike could ever be launched. And once it was confirmed that Iran's top leadership was gathered in a specific location, the decision was made to move to the next phase. The people of Tehran still knew nothing. The city continued in normal rhythm, but behind the shadows, the war had already begun, and history was waiting for its next moment. War and global crises make the future of our careers uncertain. Yet in today's world, even as upcoming economic and social instability threatens many professions, the content creation industry still offers a considerable level of security. That's why, thinking about the future, we should begin taking steps now to secure our future. After the long chapter of covert surveillance ended, the operation entered its most critical phase. Initially, the objective was not to assassinate Khamenei directly. Instead, the plan was to overwhelm Iran's defense system so thoroughly that when the real strike came, they would have no opportunity to mount an effective response. According to multiple reports, before targeting the senior leadership, the first strategy involved temporarily weakening Tehran's airspace defenses. For years, Iran had relied heavily on its powerful air defense systems. The radar networks and defensive barriers surrounding the capital were seen as the nation's primary shield. So rather than striking the main target immediately, a coordinated diversionary assault by the United States and Israel reportedly began. The aim was to force the defense forces into dealing with multiple simultaneous crises. Gradually, unusual conditions began emerging in Tehran's skies. Reports of explosions across different areas kept security forces occupied. And at that exact moment, a massive aerial operation reportedly began. Around 200 fighter jets launched simultaneously from Israeli and American bases, turning the entire situation into a carefully planned, large-scale assault. Inside the city, many people still failed to understand where the real target was. Many dismissed the distant explosions as limited military tension. But in reality, the scope of the attack was slowly narrowing toward Khamenei's heavily fortified complex, where Iran's top leaders were gathered alongside him. The skies above Tehran grew heavier with tension. Even as explosions were reported in different parts of the city, the situation inside the secure complex had still not been treated as a full-scale emergency. But at that moment came the turning point of the entire event. According to security protocols, the leadership was supposed to remain inside the deepest and most fortified shelter, but in reality, they were reportedly positioned in a comparatively shallower underground facility. Perhaps the threat had not seemed severe enough, or perhaps there had not been enough time to relocate. That single decision became a major opportunity for the attackers. The intelligence gathered over months suddenly aligned together. Analysts became certain the target was indeed present at that location. And the moment that confirmation arrived, the operation entered its final stage. The diversionary attacks across the skies had only been preparation, a strategy to weaken the defense systems before the main strike. Then, within moments, the situation turned catastrophic. Massive explosions shook the entire area. Multiple layers of security infrastructure collapsed. And the place once believed to be impenetrable transformed into ruins within seconds. Many inside reportedly had no chance to understand what was happening before everything changed forever. Later, many international analysts argued that if the leadership had remained in a deeper fortified shelter, the outcome might have been different. But in modern warfare, sometimes decisions made within a few minutes are enough to alter the course of history. The people of Tehran slowly began to realize that this was not merely a military attack. It was an assault designed not only to strike the nation's leadership, but to shatter its morale. As the deafening sounds of the explosions faded away, a heavy silence descended across that region of Tehran. Smoke and dust covered the center of the capital, where, only moments earlier, the nation's top officials had been engaged in critical discussions. Rescue teams rushed toward the site, but within a short time, it became clear this was no ordinary strike. It was a highly coordinated attack, specifically targeting Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. Several key figures from Iran's military and security leadership were reportedly killed in the assault. Security personnel and staff members attending the meeting also suffered casualties. The meeting, originally organized to discuss the nation's future security, turned within moments into the center of devastating destruction. Immediately afterward, grief and anger spread across Iran. Political circles described the attack as a direct violation of national sovereignty. That day, the people of Tehran realized war was no longer confined to borders, because when even the most heavily protected locations can be struck, one unavoidable question emerges. In the modern world, is any nation truly safe? Yet history has repeatedly shown that while a leadership can be attacked, breaking the spirit of a nation is far more difficult. In many cases, such events give birth to new resistance. And so, that day in Tehran did not remain only a story of destruction. It became a symbol of rising tension, uncertainty, and the beginning of future conflict. Because an attack may end within minutes, but its echoes can survive in history for decades.